capture here. All right, so good. All right, guys. So, are you frustrated about the limited options that it comes to when getting your deals financed in real estate? But you desire to have the cash on hand, so anytime an opportunity presents itself, you can take advantage of that, right? Welcome to Brick by Brick Podcast, Real Estate Podcast. My name is George McPherson. I'm a real estate coach, I'm an investor, and an agent. If you ever looking to sell or buy a property, make sure you reach out to me and see if I could definitely help with that. All right, so guys, let's jump into it as far as, you know, the options that we have, or some might limit themselves to say, well, I don't have a lot of options when it comes to real estate. They might see a property, they might have a opportunity to take advantage of, but they don't have the financing or the knowledge to take advantage of those opportunities, right? And what could be limiting people when it comes to that? A lot of people think that they need perfect credit to get started in real estate investing. I can tell you that's absolutely far from the truth. But, for someone, they might have a mental block. They could have co signed for somebody, a family member or a friend, a loved one, a spouse, or, a boyfriend or girlfriend, and they split. But they co-signed for someone, had good credit at the time, co-signed for someone, and then end up, their credit went to the garbage. But in a sense, they're saying, well, you know what, I can't start in real estate. I would love to get started in real estate investing. I would love to purchase something, but I can't right now because of my credit. That could be one reason that you say, all right, is limiting you from taking advantage of opportunities. And next one could be, hey, you know what, I don't have the income to show, or my debt to ratio is too high, right? And you say, well, I don't have the right job right now. I'm transitioning to being an entrepreneur. And, I heard with entrepreneurs, because this is what the investors are saying. This is what people are saying, right? When it comes to you trying to started in real estate, which is true. When you have a W-2, it's a lot more easier because you have a W-2 versus when you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, they want to see that 2-year tax returns, right? So if you just leave your job, or you left your job 6 months ago, and then you become that entrepreneur, right? Then they're gonna say, well, they need 2 years of things. So you put a mental block on yourself and be like, man, I'm out of the game because I have to wait another year and a half to do that. So that's something else that, people say is limiting them from getting started or to take advantage of the deals that they have, right? Because they're having trouble getting finance. The next one could be collateral, right? They could be like, yo, you know what? I don't have any collateral, anything to put up for the deal that I'm going in, right? A lot of people, collateral could be skin in the game. That's really what it is. Or collateral meaning that you have something to lose. So if you're borrowing this, then you're putting up what you already have as as your asset to say, hey, if I default on this, you guys can take what I have, right? And some people might not have collateral, so they automatically say, you know what, again, I'm limited to options when it comes to real estate. So some people might say, hey, listen, I don't have all three, so I'm definitely can't get started in real estate. I can't do nothing in real estate. Some may have two and be like, yo, I'm working on this one. I might have good income. I might have collateral, but I don't have the credit. So I can't really get started, right? Or I'm limited to certain things. I'm trying to do this deal, but I can't get it done because I don't have the credit. All right. That's one thing. But again, you're far away from the truth. And the only thing is, you just have to learn certain strategies and certain ideas, right? You got to put yourself in a situation to where, with real estate, the great thing about real estate is that you don't need perfect credit, you don't need income, right? And you don't need collateral. You don't need a lot of stuff that they're telling you need. All you have to do is provide an opportunity to someone that didn't have the opportunity, right? That's looking for an opportunity. And that way you could become that asset to now, hey, you're a partner in something, right? And that's where we come in with partnering up with private investors. because a lot of times what private investors look like, right? A lot of times we'll go to the bank and say, hey, I want to get started in real estate investing. And you walk into your bank because, hey, you know what? I have a long-standing relationship with my bank. You know, I've been at Wells Fargo for years. I've been at Chase for years, been at all these banks for years. They don't care, right? They don't care. You're putting your money and you're parking your money there. But at the end of the day, they don't care. You're going to have to put that 20% down, right? So when it comes to that, and they're going to be much harder than someone else. So that's why, yeah, you might say, well, they have the cheaper rates. But if I go now to a hard money lender is more willing and able to give it to you. But the asset that you have to bring to them has to be something where it meet their criteria. But also it's like you have to pay a lot more as far as interest, and you still have to put skin in the game. So now it's like, man, I don't have the money to put up, so I can't go hard money route, right? They're a little bit more lenient when it comes to credit. They're a little bit more lenient when it comes to buying a house, because as long as it meets this debt to ratio, I'm good. They're not looking at my income. They're just looking at certain things. But now they're saying, well, you know what? You can't do it because you don't have the money to put up for the hard money. So again, you might limit yourself to that. But really and truly, you have access to millions of dollars and not even knowing that you have access to millions of dollars. If you look at your phone right now and you look through your contact list, there's plenty of people in your contact list that, if they're not interested in getting started in real estate, most people want to do real estate, they just don't know how, or they're just too busy, right? A lot of these private investors are doctors, are lawyers, are people, regular people that have their 401k, or their IRA that's just sitting there. They want to invest it in something, but they don't have the time, right? They don't have the time to go out and do a fix and flip. They don't have a time to deal with tenants. They don't have a time to go out and try to wholesale a deal. But if you have the opportunity to do that, if you have the time to do that, and you bring that opportunity to them, now the only thing you're doing at that point is providing an opportunity, and then they're using everything that you don't have. So now you come to a point where you create partnerships with private lenders. And how you do that is you can't just go up and say, hey, you know what? I'm looking for a private lender. That's not how it works. Number one thing is, like, you have to build rapport with these people. You have to know what you're talking about. And the best way I'll say to build rapport is, you have to go to events. You have to network with people. And I learned from other highly successful people, one of the things that they all talk about is your network, right? Your network equals your net worth. And the more people that you know is the more you could connect other people. You might not need their services, but you might know somebody that knows somebody that need their service, and you can connect people, right? So in a sense where you have an opportunity now, if you know someone, they might not be interested in it, but now they're able to connect you with someone that does. So you have to be out there to network with people and build relationships with people. So then when the opportunity comes, the only way you could know is that unless you talk to people and say, listen, you know what? Now I know it. I learned that, hey, I've known you for all these years, but I didn't know that you're interested in real estate. I didn't know that you want to get in real estate, right? And some of the times people will reach out to you when they see you doing stuff. And if they don't see you doing real estate, if they don't see you going to these meetings, if they don't see you, doing any fix and flips or doing anything like that, then they're not going to know that you're in real estate. So you have to let people know. That's why you go to network events. You go to real estate network events. I have a network event that I put on every single month, right? Every second Thursday of the month, I have a network event. And what that is that a lot of people say, hey, there's none in my area. Well, for me, I said, you know what? Let me create one. So don't create any excuses. If you don't see an opportunity, create an opportunity. Create your own opportunity. For me, I created my own opportunity. I always went to Atlanta, go to different places. I'm driving an hour and sometimes just to go to a network event. Why not create one that's closer to me that I can actually just be a part of? And I'm the one that created. I'm the one that's looking now like the professional, right? I'm using the tools that I already have to create a network and bringing people together at the same time. So you can do the same thing. If you're saying, well, you know what, I don't have any network events in my area that I could go to, any real estate networking events, then create one. Go on Meetup, go on Eventbrite, create an event, a real estate event, and you be the host of it. And then over time, you can build that up, right? So now you're networking with people that have similar interests. And by networking with people, you'll find that people out there have the money and they'll go to these events, but they don't have the time to be going out there looking at properties, doing the fix and flip because they're busy doing other stuff, but they're willing to come in and see who they can partner with or they can learn from as well, right? So you have that you could do. The next thing that you could do is pitch opportunities. At this point, you look like, right, or you know what you're doing. You can't go to someone that has the money and say, man, you know what, would you like to partner up with me on this? I think I have a good deal. No, you can't go in like that. You have to be the professional. You have to be confident in what you got, right? You are not providing them with anything more than an opportunity. So when you're going to them, you're telling them that you have an opportunity for them to make money. It's not, hey, can you partner up with me? You have an opportunity, and at that point, you're presenting that opportunity to them. If they want to take advantage of that opportunity, great. But you have other people that you could go to. But hey, you know what? I'm bringing this opportunity to you because of what I learned about you. I learned that by networking, right? We go back to the first thing. By networking with you, I've learned that you're interested in these type of properties. You're interested in these type of deals. You're looking for this type of return. So at that point, you could say, you know what? All right, let me call this person up because I know what they want. I know what they're looking for. And now I can use the opportunity that I have and leverage up with them. So you might not have the credit. You might not have the money. You might not have the collateral, but now you're partnering up with somebody that does. And that means that you're not getting the full amount, but now when you're bringing a private investor, you're sharing that profit, right? You're sharing that profit with them. So those are things that you have to look at and say, all right, how do I use what I know instead of trying to block yourself from saying, all right, I don't have the credit, I don't have the resources, I don't have this, I don't have that. And it's like you're blocking yourself from really taking advantage of the true opportunity that's in front of you, right? And the thing that I look at too is when you do joint ventures, you establish joint ventures with people, right? That will give you the opportunity now to go in, because what you're doing is getting private money, right? Private money, private investors. So now what you're doing is creating an opportunity where you're doing joint adventures with people to where you're splitting profit share. And when you start splitting profit shares, you could do 2-3 of those, right? And where you're seeing your credit is not good right now, the first deal you do, you make a couple $1,000s on, you start working on your credit. The thing that I will never understand is if you know that your credit is shot and you're not working on it, then I'm not sure what you're trying to accomplish. If you say you want to accomplish being an investor in real estate, you have to make sure that you're working on your credit. Okay. Now, sticky situations happen to people. You know, good things, I always say, you know, good things happen sometimes. Bad things happens to good people, right? In a sense where you might try to help somebody and it end up backfiring on you. You might take a leap of faith and go out there and start a new business, and you put everything on the line for yourself and it didn't go the right way, and now your credit is shot, right? It's okay. But at the same time, work on making it better. So now when you get back that credit, you can leverage it, because that's what you did. You leverage your credit to start that business and it didn't work out. So you're not quitting on yourself. What you're doing is, hey, you know what? Let me go in real estate. Let me do some joint ventures. Let me do certain things so now I can build up that credit back. So now I can leverage that again. Okay. So when you're talking about you're limited to finances, you're only limiting yourself. I didn't even touch on the fact that when you're talking about getting private money, that's one part of it. But what it comes down to is when you're in front of that seller, sometimes you may not need a private investor. Sometimes you could negotiate with that seller to where they're doing seller financing and you don't have to put any money up front, right? They can do all the closing. You have to be the one to negotiate the terms or make something that's fair for both of you, right? To where you're giving them money a few months down the line because you're saying, well, you know what, you don't have the money to put up front, but hey, put the closing costs in, put these stuff in, and then on the back end, you're giving them money. Or you're telling them, hey, and the deal have to make sense. Everything have to make sense. You have to make sure, one, you're getting a property that you're cash flowing on, and all depends on what you're going to do with that property. If you're planning on flipping it, then that's different. If you're planning on keeping that property, right, because it's cash flowing, and you have to make sure that if you're taking a property and you're saying, all right, you're going to own or finance it, you have to make sure that you do your evaluations to make sure that property, if it's a buy and hold, that means it's cash flowing. If it's not cash flowing, there's no reason for you to buy and hold it. If anything, find somebody that's willing to take on that deal. Go to a private investor at that point that's looking for something like that, that's looking to park their money in a property, and they're not worrying about cash flow. What they're worrying about is down the line appreciation. And that might work for some investors. That's why when it comes down to networking is important, because you will find out what other people are looking for and what their ultimate goal is when it comes to their real estate goals, right? So when you're talking about you being limited, you're only being limited because of here. When you think about it and you sit back, you put yourself around people, and then you start to learn, you learn that you don't need the credit. Because if you have the opportunity, then you can bring the opportunity to somebody that's looking for the opportunity, and you could flip that property to them and make a couple thousand, or you could partner up with them and still make a couple thousand. You have to realize which one will be better for you, right? So those are a couple things when we're talking about, if you're frustrated really about in real estate finding money for your deals, private investors are always a key way to go. You just have to make sure that you're in the right places, right? Looking for these people. You have to make sure that you're going to events. Sometimes it's just taking somebody out for lunch just to learn. Not only to go to these meetings and say, hey, you know what? I went to a real estate meeting. I think I did great. But how many people did you talk to when you went to that real estate event? When you go to these events, go with the intention that you're going to meet people and build rapport with them. Find out what they want, but also tell them what you want and what you're looking to accomplish. So when you bring that opportunity to them, right, they already know what you're about, or you already know what they're about. When you find that opportunity, you could reach out to them. That's why I said building rapport, going to these network events are very important. Making sure that you're pitching opportunities and not partnerships. You're not pitching partnerships, you're pitching opportunities. Okay? Don't pitch partnerships, pitch opportunities. You're always pitching opportunities. Don't ask somebody to partner up with you on something. Pitch the opportunity to them and then let them partner up with you. Okay? At that point, you could go in and be the professional, and all that is you're building credibility along the line. So now when that deal is done, that person, if everything goes smooth and you make money on that deal, guess what? That person is going to do a deal with you again, or they're going to want to do a deal with you again because you just made them thousands, right? The deal went smooth. Everything went how it's supposed to go based on what you told them. So now they might be somewhere and they might be at their office talking to somebody. They might be in a real estate meeting, and that's great to do, especially if you partner up with someone at a RIA event or whatnot in your RIA club, and you partner up with that person and y'all made money. When you go to the next meeting, you talk about the deal that you made money on. You say, hey, you know what? We made money on this deal, and then they will confirm, and now you're building credibility. So now somebody else might be in that room that's looking for somebody like you to bring them opportunities. So now when you bring an opportunity up, not only that one person is going to look at you and say, hey, you know what? I know them already. But now somebody else might be looking at you, be like, yo, you did a deal with Johnny and you made money. You made Johnny money. So I want you to make me some money as well, right? Because you're building credibility as you go. So these are certain things that you can accomplish when it comes to private money. These are things that you can absolutely do without having credit, without having collateral, without you saying, you know what, I need the income, because none of this I talked about income. If you're doing a seller finance, when it comes to not private money at this part, but if you sit down and you have to learn how to negotiate. So when it comes down to you sitting in front of that seller or the person that's giving you that not giving you the opportunity, but presenting a deal to you, when you negotiate, you can negotiate terms. If you can get that terms with a seller where you're doing seller financing, or a subject to where you're not coming out of pocket, no money down type of deal, then you can negotiate that. But if it's a deal where, you know what, it's a flip and you need that money, at that point, you have to have the investors to back you. Now, when is the best time to have private money lending or private investors? Before you have the deal. That's when you need them, before you have the deal. Because when you have that deal, and normally when you have a deal, you have a set amount of time on your contract. So if you have a contract, then you have a set amount of time to close that contract. So every day it's ticking, right? So if you have 14 days, you have to now find somebody to close on your deal within that 14 days. Versus now, if you already have your private money set up, if you already have people in your corner and be like, yo, this is what I'm looking to do, these are the opportunities that I look at and I always have, then at that point they'll be like, all right, the next time you have an opportunity like that, definitely swing it my way. So now if you have 10 of those people in your corner that be like, I like those type of deals, if you have one, swing it my way, when that opportunity comes up, you now have 10 people, 10 private investors that you could go to instead of having none at that time. That's why I said the best time to have your private investors is before you have the deal. All right. So hopefully those help, guys. Now, if you're ever in the area looking to purchase or to sell your real estate investment property or just your property in general, make sure you reach out to me. I'm a licensed agent as well. So if you're looking to list your house, if you're looking to buy a house and you need professional guidance, I'm definitely here to help. Again, thank you for tuning in on the Brick by Brick podcast. We'll see you on the next one.